It's in, yeah.
Hi, folks. I want to welcome all of you, PhDs and otherwise, and we do have a couple in the room. Um, Respect and love and greetings to all. And tonight's theme for Recordando is Recordando el Arco Iris, remembering the rainbow. And we meet every month, even if we're really late to get it together. Thank you, Zoom, not cooperating with me tonight. Earlier tonight. We are here every third Saturday of the month, virtually since November 2020. So I'm excited that folks still want to meet up, and this type of layout facilitates us gathering people from all over the country, all over the world. So you don't even have to put a you know, fill your gas tank to be here. You have to do other things like plug in devices and sit in comfy chairs and maybe put on a nice shirt or something like that. Thank you for that effort. Of course, this is Pride Month. Maybe that's why Arco Iris came up as a theme. Thank you, Richard. But however you want to interpret that theme is fine with all of us. Just read some work. Oh my gosh, let's hear some literature that you've written. And I want to call for volunteers. I don't have a layout with a list. And I'd like to not go first because my piece is kind of a lengthy prose piece. I don't want to start. Who would like to read something just to get us warmed up here?
I'd love to start.
Yay, great. Do you want to share your screen? Are you ready to go?
I can share my screen.
Okay, let me give you the ability. There you go. You have ability now.
Okay,
Welcome,
great.
Stelina, yay. Glad you're here.
So this is called April 7, 2023. You said, Mija, you are no longer a guest. You can do dishes now. Though I visited you, I never came out to you. I'm queer, I should have confessed. After Trump won, you posted, racism is already here, sexism is already here, or something alike. I wondered, did you vote for him? But I yearned for innocence and told myself you didn't. You and I both migrated as children. Sociologists call us the 1.5 generation, a betweenness marketers refer to as the forgotten generation. Surely memory could not have voted against us. I offer my hand.
I offer my hands. Thanks for kicking this off, Stelina.
That was lovely.
And quite fresh from April 2023.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad you shared your screen. That was so interesting to see it.
Yeah, anyone who
that
wants to
was
do that, you can do that if you like.
I could go. I have a sort of a longish piece I chose, but you know.
Yes, please.
But let me see. Well, first I should show my nails.
I've been looking at them.
Yeah, I did them again, and I have a hard time showing them all at once. And they're all the pride colors, and I chose to do like the the rainbow type pride colors, like the base color on three fingers of each hand. So you had like red, orange, yellow, red, orange, yellow, but I mixed them with other colors, and then green, blue, and violet. And then I put some of the other colors on too. And then the thumbs were black and brown. And then I figured since trans folks are getting the most haters right now, I put those colors on my middle fingers, the light blue and pink, along with gray and white, which are on the trans and gray ace flag. And I was showing them around the other night at a reading, and these resulted in my worst faux pas of the year. so I'm gonna tell that, and then I'll read my. Yeah, and that was because I was showing them at a reading, and there were actually some trans friends there, and a couple other people, and I was like, "Yeah, look, I did," you know. And so then the next day, I'm walking down a crowded commercial street near my house, Piedmont Avenue, Debbie knows, and on one of the corners, a lot of folks around, sunny day. There were two trans. I keep saying kids, but you know, like in the people in their 20s, with big signs that are collecting for ACLU for trans rights and you know, stuff like that. And they're, you know, hawking to everybody, come blah, 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 you know, and we're walking by and there's a whole bunch of other people and they hawked us, and I'm like, it's so awesome that you're out here. And I go, and it was automatic. I don't, it wouldn't normally be. And, you know, I thought one of them was going to faint, but they were both like, you know, and it was in a crowd of people. I'm like, and I was still walking, and I just turned around, and I'm like, that didn't read very well. And I was like, look, I have all my nails. I just did the presentation they did to you and explained the whole thing, and they were fine. But I felt bad about it all day. I thought I almost gave somebody a heart attack, you know, on the street. So the story for, yeah. And you know, that's actually, it's a blue heart and a pink triangle. So that heart was hard to draw. Is will I be miss will I be bad if I do read one poem that's a little bit longer? Is that okay? Have I already taken up all my time? You're okay with
there's
that?
plenty of sand in the time
Yeah.
bucket, whatever. Yeah.
I'm gonna read from Unit of Agency book. I'm gonna read the poem I wrote for my queer series I ran called #We, and that's the name of the poem, #We, and it contains a very weird word in it, which is the word tourbillon. It's like the word tour, like a tourist, tour and billion jammed together, but it's actually a French word that means whirlpool. I came across it, and it was the perfect word for the sentence, so I used it. Anyway, but this is like my slightly longer, it's not a manifesto, it's just a queer, a poem about queerness. #We. When I wake up queer, it's like every other day. Like every day since I came out of my mother. I don't know what any of this means, but I do know the roller coaster, the ins and outs of light, the flickering, the pounding beat, the omniphonic symphony of cells. I know my cells, my nerves, my stink and hair, and I know that someone called them queer, applied the term queer. Maybe it was me, I, the phenomenon referenced as I, or maybe it was everyone. In any case, queer, a sound with a history. From the German quer, oblique, cross, adverse, perverse, deviant. Oblique, slanted or sloping, asymmetrical, indirect, evasive. I am most of these. Sometimes all when I include the latter two, when in fact I need to shade my queerness for the sake of safety, perceived or real. I cross streets with my walk, step after step, breath after breath. I cross boundaries and proprieties, word after word, breath after breath. I cross my own queer shadow indirectly. Adverse, I oppose intolerance. I face aggression or am faced by it. I turn toward ignorance, toward fists, and I observe them. And sometimes I'm afraid. Afraid to move, afraid to stay. But I let them know I'm observing, and I wait to be seen, for eyes to light. And sometimes I am struck. Perverse, I am turned the wrong way because somebody made the sound wrong. said, I am twisted, bent. I turn away from the truly bent, whose nature has been torqued from human back to mammal. I smell their fear. I turn away. I gather. I turn toward. Deviant, I take the side roads, the small roads. I range off-road into the wilderness, into the wild, far from nonsensical structures, laws, manners, and into the open space, unshadowed by towers and norms, where civility and anarchy meet and caress and fuck. Now that's queer. That's queer because it defies the utterance of others or of those who other, and loves the utterance of those who we. That's queer because it takes things as they are, as much as one can. It allows where centuries of stone would otherwise staunch. That's queer because it allows, because it lets the vine grow wild, the thirsty drink, the body become and behave and be a new form, a new shape, stretching and writhing in its own splendor, its own light, its own scent, turning heads across the countryside to see what new thing has emerged. That's queer because it allows the new, damns preconception, damns presumption, curses definition for the infinite, lets the mind see what it will, not what it wants, not what it expects, but what it doesn't expect, what might be. That's queer because it savors when propriety pulls back its chair, folds its hands, and watches warily, wantonly, bewitched as queerness unfolds itself on the table. That's queer because it smells good, because it feels right, and that's always okay. That's queer because it has its own scent, knows its own scent because it knows its face in whatever configuration, of whatever kind, kindly and surely it is what it is. That's queer because it knows what it is, even when struck, especially when struck. That's queer because you know what you are. I know what I am. We know what we are because you are what you are. I am what I am. We are what we are because you feel right. I feel right. We feel right. That's queer because it feels right in my bed. It feels particular, specific, necessary, whole, ecstatic, because it belongs, because it feels normal, right, the most normal thing there is, entwined and drifting perfectly to sleep. When I wake up queer, I wake up. I wake up to normalcy. I wake up to skin, to touch, to human scent, my own or another's or both. I wake up to easy air, to my lungs accepting air with ease, to delicious air, to acceptance. I wake up to seeing and being seen. I wake up to all the human shit we pull on each other, longing, confusion, presumption, jealousy, sadness, acceptance, seeing and being seen. I wake up to we, to being one with the species rather than outcast. I wake up to connection, to a sense of umbilicus. I wake up to we, to the many inside me, to they that comprise me, to the kaleidoscopic whirl of being and sense and life, to the tourbillon of life. I wake up to we, to the verb of we, to the act of we, as in to be, as in to free, as in to accept, to allow, to welcome. I wake up to welcome, to the elusive welcome of being in the world, of moving forward, of inventing new forms of being, existence and purpose and joy. I wake up to the elusive, which is not elusive at all, despite what they say, because queer is not elusive. Queer is here. Queer is very here. Queer is evolving. Queer is thriving. Queer is we. Queer is normal because queer is everyone and everything, and everyone is queer because there is no normal. Normal is ideology. Normal is propaganda. Normal is queer. Queer is every day, and every day is queer. Every night is queer. Every sleep is queer, and every waking queer. When we wake, we queer, like every other day. I don't know what any of this means, because this isn't about meaning. It's about being. It's about doing. It's about living. So let us live fiercely, softly, colorfully, darkly, queerly, as the need requires. Let us be. Let us very be. Let us do and breathe, and do and touch and do, and rest and do and wake and do. Let us queer as we are, as we can, as we want, as we will, as we must. Let us we. Yeah, I know that's long. Thank you. I hope it didn't take too much time.
It feels like to me, like a very like a lived-in couch manifesto or personifesto. You know, just
I don't write a lot about queerness, and because it's just sort of what it is for me. And
yes, the air you breathe, the water you breathe.
yeah, so when I started a reading for people to talk about marginalization as for being queer or for being, a minority group within the queer culture or whatever, I figured I should probably write something down. That's what came out. Anyway, I'm done. Yeah.
Have you ever read that for younger people?
Yeah, I think so.
I wonder if they've received it like with, joy and relief and release and, like finally somebody's airing this out,
Well, I mean, there's so much written about it all the time. It's not like everything I said was unique, but I don't know. I don't read it a lot because it's long. It's like 8 minutes or something. So, um,
Okay, sorry. We're like on the fourth Amber Alert just this week in Texas.
Jesus.
This is how little we respect our youth. We're kidnapping them left and right. This fourth time this week. Yeah. Missouri City, Texas is missing a 4-year-old. Yeah. And a 6-year-old. Sorry, I just got that. Oh. That was awesome.
Wonderful,
Thank you.
Richard. It didn't feel like 8 minutes. It just floated along, and I just was just so like right there, right there.
Didn't hurt too much.
It was not painful at all. It was soothing and salvationing. Just
Oh, my cat's tapping me on the back. What do you want?
There's a cat alert.
What do you want, baby? Okay. She taps me on the back.
She has a rainbow poem to share.
Yeah. She's what was I gonna say? Yeah, this is very relaxed. I mean, if there's a sense of urgency, if we had a line up and somebody's reading right after Richard in quick succession, everybody has, 5 minutes, then there would be that energy of, oh, this is too long, and why did he pick that piece?
Yeah,
I
sort of
don't
why
want
I did.
I don't want to create that kind of synergy or lack of synergy here. So we can breathe. I like that you breathe time into that piece. It didn't feel like too much.
I mean, I chose to read it at here tonight for a couple of reasons, but partially because I know that we can do that occasionally here.
It fed me. Thank you. I needed that. It was very nourishing. Thank you.
I'm going to do something scary and volunteer to read after Richard, which is like kind of like an opposite action, because I would normally be like, oh my God, I can't. Maybe I won't even read tonight. So I'm going to do like opposite to the way I would normally act. So that helps me grow.
That's so queer. Go
I
for
know.
it.
Thank you. And so this is something pretty new, pretty rough. Oh, I don't think anybody here has heard it yet. Okay, it's pretty new, but I have read it once to some people. It's got a weird long working title. Sometimes I feel like my only friend is the city I live in. Lonely as I am, together we cry. For Anthony Kiedis. Alarm set for 8. Rehearse for awake. 9 a.m. the show. Mornings are so good for REM sleep when dreams do come. Learned to turn off nightmares that recur as easy as I stop my alarm. Lost, no address, strange town, walking. No phone, no key, no shoes, no map, no clothes. Dream plan is to find clothes hanging on a line, put them on, and open an unlocked door. I'm there where I need to be. Next dream, wandering until I enter a pub where I meet a mystery date. A dream, not a dud. It's the front man from Red Hot Chili Peppers? Perfect gentleman and so handsome. We say goodnight. I'd like to hang out again sometime, he tells me respectfully and flirtatiously. Too embarrassed to say I didn't catch his name. So I wake up and watch official Chili Peppers video. I don't ever wanna be like I did that day. Take me to the place I love. Take me all the way. Now in dreams, where I am is where I want to be. No longer lost, naked, alone. Now in dreams, processing shadow from a home base, wearing clothes, dignified. What it signified, I do not know. Never saw a show, never was a fan. Thank you, beautiful rock star man. I wrote this poem and found out your name. True story. And I don't have those reoccurring dreams anymore. So
that's great.
He made a little cameo. That's cool.
I don't know his name. I just know he has really long hair, and
his name is Anthony Kiedis, because I did find out.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it was incredible. Yeah.
Oh, you did say it before. You did say that
Anthony
at the beginning.
Kiedis. Yeah. Nobody knows his name because they all know Flea's name or something. But Anthony Kiedis.
Thank you. That was fun.
That was great.
Thank you.
I love dream poems, actually. A lot. Well, we haven't heard from Lorraine or Jeffrey. Just want to invite you to share something if you have something prepared.
Sure, I can go next.
Oh, thanks.
Like. This is called Enter Iris and Luna Stage Front. In a momento, the town is plunged in inky darkness. Scattered whistles and cheers echo down the streets, echo the groans of men. Their TV soccer game disappeared before their eyes. These lanes fill with families and couples who watch the stars emerge, now freed from the glare of street lamps, sparse clouds brightened by the full moon. A chubby-cheeked boy points at her. Look, La Luna has an arco iris. Surrounding her, a moonbow paints this chill night, auguring rains to come before the dawn.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you, Lorraine.
I thought there would be more, so it kind of felt like, oh, that we're done. Okay.
Wonderful imagery.
Thank you.
Has anyone ever done a painting of your poetry, Lorraine?
I've done drawings with poetry in it. Several of them have been published. I don't know if I can show. Let's see.
Oh,
Where would it be?
an example.
Uh-huh. Let's see. How can I share it?
Well, Richard, can you explain? I have to go off.
Oh, here, share screen. I got it.
Yeah, it should work.
Okay, let's see. Looks like my connection's a bit slow. So this is called Menagerie, and it's a series of haiku.
Hey, Lorraine,
Yes?
it might work to open it before you hit screen share.
Oh, okay.
So maybe back out of screen sharing and then open it and see if it gives you a way to select that open screen.
Okay, how can I do that?
You should be a button at the top that says end screen share somewhere.
Oh, stop share.
Stop
Yeah.
sharing.
Now open the file and then try sharing again. It may not work, but I think it will.
Yeah, open the Word file first. Sorry, I had to take a mom call. These days I have to take every mom call.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's fine.
Okay, go back. Here we are. Now share screen. And there.
Mm-hmm.
Is it there now?
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
great.
see the image. Wow. Look at this. Oh, so rich. So I see a line of some lines of poetry on the right-hand side, but also some writing in the drawing itself.
No, what's on the right-hand side is what comes in the notebook.
Mm-hmm.
Los niños que trabajan no tienen tiempo para ser niños. It's every page has something like that written on it.
Oh, it was already on the page. Yeah.
Does that mean something like that children who work don't have time to be children or something?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I figured that out. My Spanish is not great, but
Let's see. I can show you another one.
Lorraine, let me
beautiful.
just say that I just saw on social media that a Texas-based Latinx publisher, it's just announced they're starting a new imprint to focus on, and the new imprint is going to focus on word art,
Huh.
literary art, drawings and stuff, this kind of thing. So I'm going to send you a link and connect you with those folks.
Okay, let me see if I can find, oops, where did it go? It should be open. Gosh bless it.
That last piece of art was amazing. I just could have studied it for quite some time. And I want to try that. I want to try that. So
Okay.
creative.
Okay, I got another, let's see. This one has also been published.
Ooh, oh yeah. I like.
I just finished another one, but I don't have a scan of it yet.
Where can we find these?
I'd have to check my records to see where they were published at.
I love these sorts of things.
Thank you.
It's going to take a lot of a lot of time to get it all.
I do have the text typed up. So let's see.
Yeah, but it's better like this.
Yeah, I love that tree woman.
Okay, earthly lamentations, one you're looking at now.
Yeah.
I'll put the publication information in the chat if I can get to it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. This is the kind of art that I tried to have on the walls in the form of posters when I was a preteen. Like, I mean, this is the kind of art that I thrived on, you know, just having it next to my bed. And so, you know, when you want to get away from the parents, you're just staring at this kind of thing, getting lost in it. I miss that kind of time to contemplate work that's like big on a wall. I miss that. Screens aren't for everybody and not for everything.
And Menagerie, the first one, I just put that publication link in.
How long do you remember about how long you spent on this one? How many hours?
And which one?
The one you're showing now.
Good question. Because, you know, I work on it for different varying lengths of time. You know, I might spend 10 minutes on it and then put it aside for a couple of days and come back and work on it for several hours. Because, yeah, some of them take several hours to do. I rarely sit and do it all in one stretch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad you shared this tonight. Just really, really wonderful work. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I'm going to stop sharing.
Really inspiring.
This again.
Thank you, Lorraine.
Uh-huh. Well, with those links, you can find them and print them off and color them as you wish.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I just went to the links and I'm impressed. You've been published 300 times. I'm just impressed. Wow.
and yes, Selena, I'll share that link with you. I'll share that info. And feel free to nudge me if you don't get that info in the next week or so. Yay, great work.
I like making those too. I think a couple months ago I showed one on here. I think I made that has a big image, had a big image of a nuclear explosion in the middle with a flower on top of it, superimposed on top of it, and words all around it, all this big colored stuff. I think I did, and that got accepted into a thing that's coming out this summer. I think you should write on everything. I used to do workshops where people had to write on objects. Seems like the time to do that again. You know, like I would bring some things, paper cups or something, objects that would be easy to write on, but
Don't play with me. You better do it. You better let me know when it's happening.
maybe I'll just go over to your house with some markers and we'll just write on things all over your house.
We could. I got glue stick and magazines, all kinds of.
Mhm.
I remember wishing as a kid that I could have a broken arm or leg so that I could have a cast. So then I could go to school and all my friends could write or draw on the cast with markers. And I never had a
I
broken
remember
limb.
that. I remember
We
that.
love, like, it was like
Yeah.
having your own graffiti wall, on your arm or your leg. It was
Like your yearbook, like you were the yearbook and they would just
yeah,
write stuff on you.
autographed.
I remember one kid who he was bullied quite a bit and he broke his arm. And oh no, oh, how horrible that you broke your arm. Can we sign your cast? And he ended up with a cast full of bullying.
Mhm. That always happens in the coming of age movies, I think. They don't make those kind of casts anymore, though, like solid ones. I don't think.
I think they have the prefab ones that like snap together, made out of cat gut or something. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't. I had an elbow surgery a few years ago, and I was not supposed to move it at all. I had to keep it in this position for like a month, but they didn't put a cast on. They had like a brace on it that achieved the same thing without having to cover it and stuff. I ended up doing a bunch of sort of like, you know, text, like art poems that month too, because I couldn't write with my normal hand. And I found I can't write with my left hand unless I write really big. So I bought a giant pad of like art paper and I could write things on that with my left hand. I couldn't make the letters small enough if they couldn't read them. But anyway, I don't know. I'm just babbling. Tammy, are you going to share something or what?
Your left hand is larger than life. But can you type equally well with both hands?
Mhm.
Jeffrey, are you enjoying the night?
Yeah, I'm more listening tonight. I actually, I mean, I spent the good portion of the day today at the Museum of Modern Art where they were showing. They had, let's see, they showed a film of one of Merce Cunningham's dance work in 1968 in. It was done in San Francisco at what was then the new what's the name of that chocolate company mall there?
Not the Girardelli?
Yeah,
Or-
the Girardelli.
Okay.
And they had dancers. They were on location at the Girardelli mall for 3 weeks doing dance all over it, and they were filmed while they were doing it, and they created a 58-minute film which was actually all collage and if you've seen Merce Cunningham's work, it was a combination of all of his different things: contact improvisation and pedestrian dance, uh, and and other things. And it was really too long, 58 minutes. So I had this experience of being bombarded. It was like watching. It's like I felt like an epileptic seeing flashing lights. Uh, uh, but it also brought back memories because I've been there. At that, it's a little seedier now than it was back then, brand new. Um, and a couple of the scenes, the dancers bought these real mod outfits, pastel colored, short, mini skirted things, and the colors were amazing. Lots of pink, and that's my connection with the rainbow today. Is that there were lots of rainbow colors. But it took up my whole afternoon, and I was going to come back and work on a poem, but I didn't get time to do it. So I didn't. I have brought no poem. There's
What
my
was what was the name of the film? Do you know?
assemblage.
Could you type it in so we can all look for it? If
Yeah,
it can be found.
I don't know if it can or not.
Yeah. Just interesting to know about. Artifacts.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. And John Cage did the music for it, although there wasn't that much music.
It was very sparse, I guess.
Yeah.
Very cagey.
Yeah.
I'll read this piece. It's a prose piece. I think it's one of the first essays I wrote, and I don't know how I feel about it. And I didn't have time to read through it today. So it's a cold reading of a piece that was published maybe 8 years ago. Becoming free to learn one's own nature. The sky, the stars at night, the midnight moon, the leaves blowing towards the tiny cell window. We are all aware of that poignant scene in movies or novels when a sad prisoner looks tenderly, if wistfully, through the steel bars of his window, longing to stand unencumbered and free to walk under the wide open sky, to bend down and smell the wildest of flowers, to listen appreciatively for cows lowing in the pastures or the occasional bumblebee buzzing towards nectar. In that moment, we can understand the lonely desire of someone locked behind bars, tucked away in cinder block cell spaces, kept from the nurturing joy of experiencing nature face to face. We might quietly sigh with contentment about our own relative freedom to stroll out the front door of our house, to be consumed by a humid ambient breeze and be able to kneel on the earth, digging our fingers through fertile soil and setting roots in garden plots, eyeing rain clouds in the distance. We know what we are free to do, yet so many, too many of us don't explore that freedom. We seem to prefer locking ourselves indoors with the electricity coursing through appliances and entertainment systems that keep us comfortable and sweat-free, almost anesthetized in urban numbness. Early in my life, though, I learned sweat and work, the pull on my ankles as I tugged myself uphill, following my father's steps as he led my sister, my mother, and me to where a cow lay with her newly born calves. Daddy had awoken us at dawn, pulled us out of our ranch house beds to see this magical mystery in the meadow. We didn't own the place, but merely resided in the big house in the middle of vast acreage because my father worked as the ranch foreman there. We could look out my parents' bedroom windows and see lambs and goats roaming as they fed. We sometimes had to step lively from the car to the house so the geese wouldn't scare us as they gave chase. I got to ride in my dad's big blue pickup truck and loved the sound of the engine as he threw the gear into second so we could manage the steep, rutted roads without losing steam. I guess the rancher's life is somewhat ingrained in my blood, though once we moved to the city, I never saw animals beyond zoos and aquariums. It was later in my early 20s that I reconnected with my nature self. I was living in Austin and was surrounded in those mid-1980s days by neo-hippies who were mixing herb tinctures for medicine and introducing me to things like tofu, spirulina, and bottled mineral water. As a Latina of Mexican descent, I moved like a chameleon. Sorry, cats fighting. Cut it out. I moved like a chameleon among different cultural groups and pop trend associations, trying on affinities that my friends introduced and modeled. I knew that I wanted to be healthy and to move away from traditional habits, the lifestyle of mainstream assimilation. And I secretly loved that I was choosing to try on things unpredictable for a young woman like me. Even after I graduated from a private liberal arts college in the Northeast, I eschewed the path of careerism and financial success by moving back to Austin and co-housing with musicians, artists, and writers. For the first time, I realized that one could be college educated but consciously anti-materialistic. I soon took to the idea of pursuing quality of life experiences versus quantity of material possessions. The hill country where Austin is located afforded plenty of ways to explore the outdoors on hikes and bicycle rides to swimming holes and camping spots where punks and neo-hippies rocked out all night to live local music. Reluctantly, we'd pile into our trucks and cars for the drive back to the city, already eager for the next time when we could get lost in nature again. In the summer of 1986, my boyfriend and I took a long road trip up to Pennsylvania for a first-time experience at a rainbow gathering, the annual month-long campout meets Bacchanal meets Nature Lover Festival. This sprawling event attracts hundreds of attendees, mostly young, free-spirited freethinkers from all over the states, to a selected national forest each summer. This year, the Allegheny National Forest was our destination. Though we only stayed for a few days, I was struck by the kind curiosity demonstrated by everyone we passed and met along the dirt paths between encampments. I also noticed that hardly anyone wore watches. We were on Mother Nature's clock here. The Rainbow family, as they are called, held several council meetings, and I noticed that the proceedings seemed reminiscent of Native American tribal gatherings, with folks passing a talking stick around as they addressed the assembly. There seemed to be a great reverence for the idea of coexisting peacefully in concert with nature, and much attention and care was given to not trashing or polluting the forest with our presence. I was yet to learn terms like sustainability, ecotourism, and carbon footprint, but innately I felt the importance of treading lightly in this beautiful American forest with its huge trees and the tallest ferns I'd ever seen. They were like 5 feet tall, these ferns. As my boyfriend and I wandered through the gathering, we happened upon several young people erecting small rock sculptures in the shallow creek waters. I marveled upon seeing this sight because it seemed a creative way to engage with the land and her features. Too often we just race through parks and nature centers, loudly focused on getting through a guided tour as efficiently as possible without bothering to quiet our minds. In nature, any place can become a landmark, a go-to spot. All you have to do is stop, sit, crouch low to the earth, and allow the environment to reveal itself delicately in detail to you. The air quality that day in the forest was perfect, and I learned then and there that only away from the city fumes of industry and automobile congestion could my lungs and eyes be clear to do best what I need them to do in my life. I breathed in as deeply as I could, vowing to store this commitment along with the air I took in. I will not contribute toxins to the environment as much as I can help it. The last great moment with the Rainbow family gave me a glimpse as to why they are called that. Near a lake at one edge of the forest, we saw people gathered for a huge oment. chanting together in one amazing vibrating tone of many voices as they held hands in a big circle. My boyfriend and I joined up as we needed no permission to participate and be one with all. As the group's joyous, sustained chant swelled to a crescendo, the clouds I'd never noticed before split themselves open to spill a summer shower upon us. As the cooling rain splashed us and the earth, I trembled humbly with this new acknowledgement. Of course, the earth feels us moving and living upon it. Of course, the universe desires a connection with human beings. Of course, the natural resources we are given are fragile, magical gifts. And of course, it hears when we are grateful and celebratory in its majesty. And then, as quickly as the shower began, it stopped raining so that we could notice, one by one, as we looked up to the sky, that there hung a rainbow, a spectrum of color and shine that buoyed our spirits and forever reminded me to never take rain, ferns, trees, soil, and all earthly sentient beings for granted. Today, I still prefer to be outside more than indoors. I bicycle and do not drive. I grow edible plants in my front yard. I live a rich life of voluntary simplicity, and I will never be locked away from my own true nature, reflected by and enhanced by my love and understanding of earth, nature. So maybe I'm okay with, I think maybe then that makes me feel okay about there being a gap this high above the windows that lets the bugs in and the air. Maybe I'm okay with that.
Maybe for one night.
One night, yeah. Yeah, I think that was my first published little essay prose piece.
That's awesome. It was great.
And tells a little about my backstory, so I'm happy to share some of that. We can take a break. Do people feel like taking a little break and then we come back and maybe you go look for the pieces you said you might have somewhere and come back? Is that okay? Okay.
I can't go super long past 8 tonight, but a little while.
Yeah, come back. We'll come back for another 15 minutes or so, or 20 something.
Yeah, I want to hear some more.
Okay.
So we're gonna break for about what, 5 minutes?
Yeah, 5 minutes. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. I'm gonna stop recording or pause. And welcome to our last segment of Recordando el Arco Iris, and Debbie Siegel will be reading next. Welcome, Debbie.
Thank you. This is another new one. It's going by the title Moondog Song. Pollock's paintbrush drips drops. Chairs in a room study Kerouac's thoughts. Long hairs milking the last straw. In a mirror, evil is live and we're all outlaws. Poet worship, doomsday, wide angle cracks. Fallout namaste, sins of cannibal flashbacks. Hell's angel bikers, tripping typewriters. Bells everywhere ring, hipping the outsiders. Mothers, fathers, cousins, wives. Husbands, sons, daughters, our lives. We used to watch for UFOs. We used to watch those TV shows. We used to dread first contact. Captain Kirk from Star Trek got to blast off and back. Actor Shatner says he wept, says space is death. Follow the moon where howling dog hides. In stillness of heart, beat, tides ebb, flowers flow. I will try this, you will try that, we will look at the facts. You will say, hold me, I'm falling. I will pretend we're all guided to a calling. Thanks.
Yay.
That's a melancholy one.
Is it a melon border collie one?
I like melons. Now I want some melon.
I'm having stale pretzels and Dr. Pepper. That's my life.
Mhm.
Thank you for the well wishes, everybody.
Yeah.
I appreciate your thoughts about my brother. Thank you. Would you like to read another one, Stelina? Do you have something else?
Not at the moment. Maybe next time.
Will you tell us about your book in progress that will be published next year, I believe?
Yeah, next year. Yeah, so it's a book that I wrote about Latinx art. So I went to a bunch of art exhibits and wrote about the art. And I also have been, and so it's mostly it's mostly ekphrastic poetry.
Mhm.
But I do have like a small amount of memoristic prose or in there also. That's about sort of like my growing up around art and like what it was like for me to experience art, being from a barrio, being queer. And I also have some photographs from when I was when I was an undergraduate. I was a studio art major, so I took a photography class, and so I have about 9 photographs as well that are black and white. That are just things that I was looking at, and the book is called Watcha, which is Spanglish which means to watch.
Oh, yeah.
And so the idea is that you're looking, right? You're looking at the art. You're looking at looking through the pictures, and you're looking at what I see in my life as well. Um, so that kind of sums it up.
Did you go to undergrad in Houston or El Paso or where?
No, I went to UT Austin for my undergraduate degree. I studied
Oh.
studio art there.
When were you there?
99 to 2003.
Oh, I just missed you because I moved away in March of 99. I left
I moved
Austin.
away in March of '97, I think. I used to live in Austin also. That's how Tammy and I met. Where are you now, Stelina?
I'm in Houston.
Mm-hmm. Warm city.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it got 100. It got to 100 degrees this weekend.
Mm-hmm. How was the humidity?
It's pretty humid.
Yeah.
You have instant lotion when you walk out.
No, I remember well. Yeah. I
Yeah.
live in Oakland now. So
Oh,
does
nice.
Debbie. Mm-hmm. We're both
It's been like 57 degrees this whole month here in
yeah,
Berkeley.
Yeah, I did my master's in College of the Arts.
oh, uh-huh. Was that the one on Broadway or in the
Yeah,
city?
the one in the city because the graduate programs are in San Francisco.
Yep. Sweet.
Wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know you were in the Bay Area.
Yeah, well, partially I went to explore my sexuality. It was like I had the choice between going there or going to Chicago. I was like, I think I'm gonna go to San Francisco.
Hmm. Chicago's a pretty queer town though.
It is. It is.
Yeah,
But
I lived there briefly and I would consider living there again if I could afford to move in. Yeah. Hmm.
So the
I'm
book
glad.
is coming out on what is it called? Oh, I'm blanking out on the name of the
the
press.
press, Deep Vellum Publishing.
Deep Vellum, which is based in Dallas. So I'm so looking forward to you being up here and attending your if you have any events up here. I definitely want to.
Yeah, I'm gonna have one
That's
at
great.
the Deep Vellum store.
I was hoping
Awesome.
to go by the store today, but I was too rushed, and it was too hot, so I didn't want to go on too many detours today. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that release of your book. I feel good. Does anybody want to say let's call it a night, or do you want to share a little bit more
I
before we
could
go?
screen share one thing for like
Oh,
a minute.
please.
I thought of because it's one of my many colored poems that's kind of old now, but it was also sort of a love poem to this guy. And let me see if I can. I was looking at it. Oh, it is still up. I was looking at it earlier. Is what made me think of it. There we go. So this is about 3 by 5 feet in size. It's about 3 feet tall by 5 feet wide, and it's called. And you're supposed to read the words in any order you want. I'm sorry that these couple of dark words are hard to see. They're really hard to photograph. But it's called. Let me find the words. Where are they? Gorge us in. Where's the in? Here it is. Gorge us in Lavic knowing is the name of the piece. Lavic is, I made it up, but it's like an adjective for lava. Gorge us in Lavic knowing. But it's just a love poem, really. I think it scared him off.
Oh, I love the script. I love the hands that you have with this.
Yeah,
Chocolate
it's
butter.
oil pastels. Yeah.
I have black construction paper and chalk pastels, and I've been meaning to do some art because I love how the color pops. It almost looks like neon on the black paper.
Yep.
Neon light.
I started with big black paper. I started making these in the 80s. I went to this woman's studio, this friend's studio in Ann Arbor, but it was like huge. It was like an old factory space. And she had this gigantic pieces of black paper, and she tore one off. It was really ragged. It was about, I don't remember, it was like maybe 6 foot square or something. This huge piece of black paper. It's on the floor, and she dumps out all of these chalk pastels. And she says, make a poem right now. I was like, what the fuck? And so I filled it with I think we both did. We filled it with verbs. I filled it with verbs of all different colors and all different directions. And then I said, okay, next time your girlfriend is here, I want you to dance all over this and smear all the words together. And it was called Verb Dance. I don't think there's any photos of that, and I don't think it still exists. I think, in fact, it got purposefully shredded at a party.
Oh.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's inspiring.
Temporary art.
I loved all this literary art. Yeah, I'm in the mood to maybe do something tonight. Hopefully I'll do that. I've been meaning to make something. Let me show
Here,
you
I'll
the
take
sketch.
I'll
I'll show you the
off.
sketch. Let me see.
Yeah. What the thing I like about that kind of stuff too, and Lorraine, I'm sure you'll agree, or any of you who's done this sort of thing before, is like it's like a really different kind of part of your brain in some ways than writing something out, and it's just like a nice release sometimes to do, or just to like play with crayons. Let's see.
It's just the design that I sketched out for a stencil that I want to make. I love making stencils. If I just done that continuously for the last 30 years, I'd be a master stencil maker. So this design, I don't know if you can read or see it. It's just in like
queer here,
and there's like arrows going everywhere, like queer here, but all the arrows going everywhere. And I want to cut out the stencil and then spray paint it or paint it on a couple of t-shirts, because there's a pop-up vendor fair 10 blocks from me, and it's happened 3 times already that many of us are wanting to protest. I haven't attended yet, but there are lots of other neighbors who are protesting the vendor fair because they de-invited a vendor when they found out that that vendor is queer. Chicanx lesbiana. So, and the letter was public, you know, we publicized, so we saw it, you know, the very friendly, you know, like, oh, we're sorry, but you can't be in our fair. You can't be a vendor. We're going to return your vendor fee. We have biblical values and we don't believe in gay people or something like that. And they de-invited this person, this younger person. And so we're kind of all ticked off about that and trying to make that vendor fair go away from our neighborhood. And so that, and they've been doing chalk drawings and writing all kinds of pro, you know, LGBTQIA plus phrases on the sidewalks all around where the vendor fair is. And yeah, it's a thing that's been going on for about a week and a half in my neighborhood. So
Jeez.
Yeah.
Why are people still such big babies? That's the only thing I can't figure out. You know, I mean, you know, it's almost like too polite a thing to say about people like that, but it just always sounds like little infants crying because they're scared of somebody, you know. They just also have guns and sticks, you know. They need
Just would
diapers.
not fly.
Yeah.
That would not fly here in the Bay Area. I'm in such a bubble, right, Richard? This is
And that's the thing, we want to
incomprehensible.
make sure that we create our own bubble, like, you know, we, you know, that don't let that our neighborhood be safe for that kind of bigotry and hate. As much as they smile and say we have biblical values and love and that. So anyway,
Yeah, well, that's bullshit too.
Exactly.
Christ was a humanist, other things, and so, you know, I think you should give them diapers. You should pass out adult diapers to all the booths and say, "This is for the babies, you big babies."
Oh, I wish you lived here sometimes. But at the same time, I don't wish it on anybody. I want to share a screen, my screen, like the only screen I can share is my screen. To share, well, first I want to share this, the image that I snapped of Richard, the screen share.
That's cute.
Yeah, it's very cute.
Send it to me. I'll, you know, I don't know what I'll do with it.
And
that's very nice. Yeah.
And then I want to share an image of Danny Solis, who's celebration of life gather, and they've been happening all over the country. There's been like 4 or 5 already. So I'm not, I mean, the one in Dallas was not the first or the last, because Danny Solis lived in multiple cities and around the country. So let me get this going. So there was a video collage of Danny's like baby pictures and, you know, not so baby pictures. Here's one, a recent photo, so you might jog your memory of who he is. And he attended a handful of our readings, virtual readings. So he has history with us as a participant in these Recordando and Dando readings. He died unexpectedly in his sleep in upstate New York in April.
Damn.
And he was 63 years old and leaves behind a 15-year-old son who I got to meet today, and charming young man and quite tall. He has a very tall mother. And let's see if I can find a good photo of, yeah, me and this tall.
Where was he in upstate New York? Do you happen to know?
I don't remember the name
I could
of
look
the
it up.
town. It was somewhere outside New York City, because I think he had a reading somewhere that was supposed to happen and he never woke up
I just know all those places. Yeah.
for that reading. It's very tragic, and a lot of grieving around the loss of a huge poet. You know, he had a lot of artistry as a writer and poet, but he also was a good guy and just charming and fun and had great spirit and always a blast to be around at festivals and gatherings you might see him at. And this is his 15-year-old son Tegan. And there was a lot of sunlight coming through the window. That's why we kind of got sunned out there.
Blanched, yeah. He is tall. I mean, you're not the tallest person I know, but that kid is really tall.
Yeah, 15 years old, and he was gregarious and talkative, and he's handling things very well, and many of us have assured him that we won't abandon him if he needs, like an auntie or an uncle to be in his life. We'll be that person for him. So it was a lovely event, and I'm glad I took the time to go today. And I'll just share this image of his altar, an altar that was set up for Danny today.
Awesome. Black Panther.
Now, something that Danny revealed, because he was really into what am I trying to say? Genre writing and like superheroes and all that stuff that people love, that I don't know how to talk about. But at the last reading he attended with us, which was back in October when we did the Los Spookies reading, Danny read from a novel that he'd been working on that he called a vampire Western novel.
Right.
And and it's on the video, because I was watching the YouTube video the other day, very late at night, just because it's like he's so there with us. He's so there with us, and I'll keep rewatching that video until YouTube dies or goes away. But he says in the video, he says, I have never read out loud from this new work ever before. Y'all are the first to hear it. So that was a special gift that he shared with us. And I talked to his ex-wife, Tegan's mom, who I think is kind of overseeing his literary estate, about how we're going to move some of his material, his not transcripts but manuscripts, to be published. And I told them that vampire Western is one that I'd like to be involved in pushing that forward to publication, if it comes to be a thing that they want to have done. Anyhow, that's how we take care of each other and each other's legacies. We think about what happens to the writing once the person is gone. So thanks for letting me share that.
Heck yeah.
May you find all kinds of beautiful things at the ends of your rainbows, y'all.
This was amazing.
Yeah, right back at you.
And you're amazing, Tammy. Thank you.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. It gets easier and easier because of the quality of folks that are in the space, and they're willing to give and share and be open and trusting, and real, to bring their real selves here into the space. I appreciate y'all being patient, because we were really late today because there's some technical glitches, but also a Tammy glitch because I neglected to send the Zoom link last night. So that's a Tammy glitch. But then there were technical glitches today. And
I got a message from Ernest, because I had written him earlier saying, if there's a link, and it was like 15 minutes ago, and he's like, I went to the beach and then I fell asleep. He said, I'm sorry to miss it.
So yeah, thank you for your patience and understanding. And thanks for showing up tonight late with me. It was a real cool journey to figure out where we were gonna meet. So
like a scavenger hunt.
Yes, it was. Find the Tammy. Where's Tammy?
Where's Tammy?
So we'll be doing this again the third Saturday of the month.
That's July 15th.
Okay. And feel free to nudge me. I've got a lot on my plate. I really do. Trying not to fall too far behind in life. And be present. And, responsive and responsible.
Mhm.
Thank you. I'm going to stop recording. It's the end of our session, Recordando, June 2023. Thanks for being here, everyone. Thanks for all your lovely readings and for trusting the space with your presence and your great literary work. And good cheer, just really good cheer.